What I'd like to do now is introduce you to another legend. It's just legend after legend, and this gentleman has been my rock in the business. He's been very helpful. He's on the phone. It doesn't matter what time. If you know, this gentleman originally from Canada. We heard that he built a $5 million income in a business in Canada. Then he moved he's in Thailand at the minute. I suppose with the feet up, but he's come out of retirement for this. He's going to go full hog at Daisy. When I call him, I don't even have to think what time is it for Frank. It doesn't matter. I call and he answers. There's maybe three times he didn't answer, and he's back to me in 10 minutes because he's on another call. This gentleman is amazing. His amazing attitude. He's amazing positivity. You know, when things aren't going wrong, the negatives go up. Don't put them into your team. Well, Frank gets all the hassles. Frank gets all the problems, and he handles it so easy. I know. I just tease him all the time, and I'm delighted that he's my introducer to the program. And Kevin is his, and you can see the whole rank, and Jeremy is his, and you can see that we're working together collectively with the Daisy Diamonds here. And it's my pleasure to introduce you to the legend, the one and only Mr. Frank Varon. Frank, welcome to the call.
Thank you very much, Hugh. It's, you know what, I was just listening to what you said, and you said we had no time to put this together. I thought tonight's content was sensational, and you're right, we put it together in an hour. Can you imagine what's going to happen when the next time we do this? I mean, there was, like, as you said, zero preparation, and we knocked it right out. And, you know, the only problem I'm having with Daisy right now is I can't seem to be able to sleep. But other than that, everything is great. All right, folks, I'm going to do my best here just to take it home in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and thank you all for joining us. I thought I'd take a look at this a little bit differently and let you see it through my eyes. So for me, Daisy represents a real revolution of change. And so I want to explain that a little bit. Daisy is comprised of not one, not two, but actually three paradigm shifts. And for those that don't know what a paradigm shift, it's actually defined as an important change that happens. I'm reading this now because it's right out of the dictionary. An important change that happens every few decades when the usual way of thinking about or doing something is replaced by a new or different way. So in other words, every 10, 20, 30 years, we look at and we completely change the way we approach something. It's almost like a mini revolution. So what are these three paradigm shifts? Well, the first one is capitalization. So this is how a company, a corporation, a project raises money to pursue their projects. And it used to be, traditionally, it was banks, venture capitalists, or you'd go public, you know, an initial public offer, an IPO, initial public offering on the stock market. And that was the traditional way. But now capitalization includes crowdfunding, which has helped raise, and it's an incredible number, 40 billion in the last 12 months. 40 billion in crowdfunding. So this is just in the past year, and Daisy is a crowdfund. So we're part of that paradigm shift. Paradigm shift number two is cryptocurrency. I don't have to say too much about that. You heard from experts tonight, but it's completely redefined finance in the last decade, right? I mean, you talk about a shift. This is a massive one. And I'll give you a perfect example. Everybody's heard of Bitcoin. But if you were lucky enough to invest only $100, tier one, folks, tier one, $100 in Bitcoin about 10 and a half years ago when it started. Today, that $100 would be worth $365 million. $100 to $365 million in 10 years. So that speaks for itself, right? That absolutely speaks for itself. That's the other paradigm shift. And then number three, that's part of who we are, is artificial intelligence. And it's changing the way human beings are going to live for the next century. That, you know, it's the power to make extraordinarily complex calculations and decisions virtually instantly, like at the speed of light. And nowhere is that more relevant than in a company like Endotech, where there's unbelievably, incredibly complex algorithms are applied in their trading platforms, and the results are truly spectacular. And I mean, they are unparalleled. You just have to look at the statistics. So when we combine these three paradigm shifts, It actually creates a revolution, a paradigm revolution, which in turn creates a disruption. Now, you've heard that word tonight several times. So here we go again. It's beginning to sound like a recurring theme, because once every few years, a company comes along and changes an industry forever. They disrupt that industry, and that's why we call them disruptors, right? So let's look at some examples of disruptors. We all know who they are. You may have even seen a couple already tonight. But Google, of course, search engines. Amazon, online shopping changed everything, right? Facebook, really they're the creators of social media. And social media created a whole new world. Airbnb disrupted hospitality. Uber and ride sharing disrupted transportation. You now could hail a cab with your telephone. Netflix, of course, changed going to the movies and home entertainment. And now all these companies became multi-billion-dollar behemoths, but I mean monsters. But what did it really do for us? What did we get out of it? Not much. Some convenience and maybe some cost savings. But now all of that has changed with the launch of DAISY, because DAISY is the decentralized artificial intelligence system. And for the first time in history, capitalization, crowdfunding, cryptocurrency, artificial intelligence, and fintech. Fintech, I didn't cover that, but that's financial technology, and that's what the realm of, that's where Endotech, that's their slot. That's what they do. They're all combined for the first time to create a paradigm shift, which has become a revolution. Look, in 4 days, this past week, in 4 days, we watched as history repeats. Nobody's actually, you have to write this down to figure it out. We watched as all the records of a 100-year-old, $100 billion industry were shattered in 4 days. In 4 days, we'd already reached $50 million. I mean, these numbers are incredible. These numbers are incredible. In the first day, in the first 24 hours, we hit 30 million. That's $1.25 million per hour. Then as 52,000 people joined in those 4 days, that's 13,000 people a day with, those of you on this call know, a broken system. Okay, let's review this. All the records of a 100-year-old, $100 billion industry were shattered with a broken system in 4 days. Now, I got to repeat it. All the records of a 100-year-old, $100 billion industry were decimated in 4 days by a busted system. How is that possible? And now we get to do it again, because apparently we didn't do enough damage the first time. No, we didn't get enough done the first time around. Now we're going to relaunch on a rocket. So we're about to break all the records that we just broke. We just broke, and now we're going to break them again. And we haven't even factored in Endotech, folks. I haven't said a word about 800% average annual returns. I haven't factored in what's going to happen when Aunt Molly contributes, suppose $1,000 to DAISY crowdfund, and a year later it might be worth $8,000. Oh my God. It's almost impossible to really gauge it. And you know, folks, if you've ever said, gee, I wish I could have, you know, you see people winning a lottery. I wish I could be that lucky. I wish I could be lucky enough to win a lottery. I wish something could happen to me that would change my life forever. Well, folks, you don't have to wish anymore, because it has happened. It's happened to you. It's happened to me. It's happened to every single one of us. We've won the lottery. This is the one. This is the one. And honestly, just to wrap this, folks, I mean, I couldn't be prouder than I am right now. I mean, we're working, I'm literally 24 and a half hours. We're working around the clock. I've never had so much fun in 25 years. I couldn't be prouder to be with this group of leaders, to be with this team, to be in this opportunity together as we march together. I mean, we're going into a future that's hard to fathom. Or as my good friend Hugh Paul says, as we march together in this 21st year of the 21st century, we are marching into a brilliant future for all of our families. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you very much for spending a couple of minutes with me. It's been an honor. Honestly, folks, it's been an honor. and I look forward to serving you, and continuing to serve you. And with that, sir, I hand it back to you, Mr. Keith Hall.
Well, Frank, again, it's Thailand. I guess it's about 2 o'clock in the morning, or what time is it with you, Frank?
It is 5:03 a.m., which is exactly 24 and a half hours since I woke up this morning.
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it, but...
Can't sleep.
Yeah. Okay, that's fantastic.